Hello, hello, and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox, on the Series X, and this is take two of a video I did earlier, which worked okay while I was doing it. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, it didn't quite work okay on the other end. There were audio issues, and the sound desynced in parts. So I decided that I'm going to do something a little bit different, but also along the same lines. Welcome to the antenna. dwarf1 Plays crossed with a bit of a tutorial, because I'm going to show you a way of taking this little Scout here and extending its operational range as a drone craft. If I briefly turn off my little antenna here, I can then go into my suit antenna. My suit antenna has a range of 200 meters and allows me to remotely control a grid as long as I have a remote control and an antenna on that grid. It helps to have a camera as well. And when you're setting up your remote control, if you go to your control, you'll see there's an assigned camera. So you can have an assigned camera as well. So when I go into my little remote control system here on the telemetry of the suit and press A, I can take full control of this Scout. Yeah. And I can take it away from me about 200 meters before I lose control of it. You see, it's sitting at 209 meters outside of my suit's range. If I pop back into range, then go back to remote access, I have access to it again, and I can bring it back. Pressing X to leave the camera, so I can bring it back. And this can be extended via the use of an antenna. My telemetry of the suit will interface with this antenna, and whatever range the antenna is set to, it will boost that. So if we turn on our antenna and we set our antenna, was originally set to 200 meters. So we go to the setting of the antenna, drop into the broadcast radius, you'll see it's 200 meters. What does that look like though? Well, there is a way in Space Engineers to check it without a mod. If you open up your terminal and go to Info, you can click on Show Antenna Range, and then you'll see. It's a bit finicky though, it doesn't always show up. But this is 200 meters out from the antenna in all directions. Antennas broadcast in a spherical range. And the large grid antenna can go up to broadcast range, as seen here, a broadcast radius of 50,000 meters. It's going to cost you 200 kilowatts of power though, because the more you broadcast, the more power you use. Also, any grids in that area will know where you are. This includes Pirate AI. 50,000 meters of broadcast. A little bit big. So let's put this back down to 200. Now what you can't do is you can't actually have, even though it says you can't actually have two antennas overlapping to allow you to control a grid. I've actually tested it, which is why this is here, and frankly, when the grid passes from this antenna here into this dead zone here, it will stop. If I extend it 250 either side, the grid will still stop controlling. So how do we fix that? We fix that by a couple of ways. One, we can build a laser antenna on our headquarters grid here. and also on our antenna grid here. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze in a moment, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We shall see. So we can then link those two laser antennas, and we can sit over here in comfort and control our grid all the way over here. The beauty with laser antennas is they have an infinite range. However, they are blocked by voxels and by blocks. So you have to have unobstructed line of sight. They are really good though if we had a little mining base out there to connect to, because what we could do is we could build a laser antenna here and a laser antenna all the way over here. Connect the grid up. And that's all well and good. There is, however, another way of doing it, as long as we know that our area isn't going to be obstructed by line of sight. If there's no blocks and there's no voxels in the way, we can build a base laser antenna and a laser antenna on the grid. So if I just quickly nip down here and pop down our laser antenna here, I then come up to this ship here and pop down one here. If I go to this grid here, since there's only one active laser antenna I'm looking for, I can come here, I can either copy the coordinates or I can look for actual laser antennas in the area that are idle and tell it to connect. It will then try to establish and connect to the laser antenna. Now, if you look, base antenna is looking at ship antenna. Now remember, my suit has a 200 meter control. But because we've connected it up using a laser antenna, we can now do this. We can take this outside of our original control . Remotely pilot our scout from our suit all the way over the mountains, right around here. We've gone well beyond any control range of the base antennas, as you can see. We are well outside. We're at 3.55 kilometers with our remote controlled drone ship. A scout flyer. And as long as something doesn't block our scout flyer, we can continue to use it without a problem, as our laser antenna will allow us to track it. If you know the operational range of your area that you want to use, you can also use laser antennas to set up a kind of relay. Antenna to antenna isn't going to work, even though it says you can get it to work. But by using a laser antenna aimed towards another laser antenna with an antenna at the other end set to say 2,000 meters, you can then remotely control a ship like this in that other area at 2,000 meters around that zone. Good for remote control mining if you want. And if you want to do it in comfort, you can actually connect up a ship onto a grid for remote control. So let's just leave the remote control on this. Leave this here, like so. That's our laser there, and our laser antenna here. And we'll put that off there. Change things up a bit. So we don't want this antenna or this set of blocks. So let's get rid of all this, since it's just a range demonstration. 81 blocks in total deleted. And we don't really need all these range blocks either. This was just to show you the distance out from the antenna at 200 meters. What we're going to do is we are going to nip over to this little mountaintop here. We're going to build a very quick construction here, which will hopefully have our main laser antenna and a regular antenna. And we'll just put a battery on. So, a bit quick and dirty, but who cares? Our laser antenna at the moment is 50 kilometers. Our regular antenna is 5,000 meters. So let's have a look at our laser antenna, see if there's anything there. There's our antenna at the base. So if we connect to receiver, we make a permanent connection. Now our antenna's looking here and here. We can zip over here. Back to our little scout flyer. Bear in mind, this should, with 5,000 meters, actually, let's think. Let's just up the range on this antenna to make sure. Don't think I can access it from here. No. When I'm in 200 meters of that antenna, I could access the grid and open the terminal using the suit. Let's just push our antenna up to its maximum, 50,000 meters. What I want to do, basically create a relay between our broadcast here and our antenna. Yeah. I should be able to go straight into my suit access, take control of our scout flyer and point it in the direction of that antenna. We will leave our suit control very, very, very quickly. But as you can see, we've still got control of our scout flyer because we are now within range of the antenna connected via the laser antenna as a relay. This way, you can set up a home headquarters control station if you want. Control a scout flyer like this from the comfort of a seat. The scout flyer ramp. There it is up there. So if we take a very quick build of blocks, and we throw another connector in here, and we just call this connector 2. And then go to our scout flyer, which is way up here. We'll just bring our scout flyer down, the connector on it, as you can see, just there. We lock our scout flyer in. Now what we do is we pop down control seat, we quickly go into this, and what we want to do from here is we want to access a shortcut to the remote control, and then click control. Then we want to click control, and then we want to access the camera that's on the grid and change it to view. We want to access connector scout and switch lock, and we do that by opening up our shortcut menu here by holding down the direction we want on the D-pad. And now we have camera view on this and full control over our little scout while we are flying using our suits. So we're not using the suit telemetry anymore, we're using the grid we are on, and we're flying all the way over and around using the laser antenna as our relay from our base to our little site here, and then our other antenna to control our ship. And as previously shown in this particular one, you can slap a laser antenna on this ship, but if I went behind this hill, it would block the sight of the laser. The voxels would stop us controlling the ship, whereas if you're using an antenna, you can still control the ship. So there you go. That is how antennas work in conjunction with laser antennas, and how you can use your platform over here to make a remote control seat to control a ship like this from the comfort of your base. Useful for remote mining and so on, until we get our hands on Grid AI and create true autonomous miners that will be able to do all sorts of things like mine, offload cargo, fly from point A to point B, rinse and repeat without too much trouble. Anyway, that's my second crack at this particular video. Hopefully the audio and the video syncs up and I don't have another problem. Like I said, I wanted to do a video today, so I've made some extra time in my schedule to be able to come back and do it again. And fortunately, that is all I've got time for, because I'm going to have to shoot in a minute. But as I always say, stay safe, take care, have fun, enjoy the game. Loads more to come. And keep patient with Keen as they bring us Grid AI. We don't want any mistakes. This potentially could break a lot of things, so we have to keep patient and wait until it turns up. When it comes, it will be spectacular. I promise you that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for the likes, the subscribes. We are getting closer and closer to 2,000. I nearly said 20,000. I wish. But we will get there, and we will release the Star Wars All-Terrain Armored Transport. That's me done anyway. I've waffled on for too long. Bye for now.